Welcome to the How to Write a Book podcast, the show that helps you plan, write, and publish your book, even if you're a beginner or just feel like one. Now, for your host, she's written over a dozen books and helps others bring their books to life. Here she is, Maciel.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the How to Write a Book podcast. I'm your host, Maciel Valenzuela Castañeda, and I am super excited to have you here. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. As you might have heard, this year is going to be a big year, right? For some reason, this thing's going on in my head of the year of me. 2023, the year of me. And I think what that means is it's time to look inward. It's time to stop looking outward. And one of the things I noticed as I was really challenging myself through the end of 2022 was that I kept having this fictional dialogue in my head, narrative. And I think that makes sense because we are writers, so we have a lot of voices in our head anyways, but there is a voice that tends to be stronger, louder, and way more invasive than any other of my very cool fictional characters. And that is a negative and self-limiting voice. Yep, you might actually be familiar with this. Sometimes that voice in our head is the narrator of our day, is the narrator of weeks, months, even years. And it can become a bully. You could say things like, you're not good enough. You will never do good enough. You won't be this. You won't be that. You can't achieve this. You can't write that. And also, it kind of starts to form itself into this weird monster of other people's voices. So you think, oh, my supervisor might be thinking this, or my teammate might be thinking that, or my client thinks that, oh, I'm not good enough in here. And what's interesting is that nobody's ever said this. Nobody's actually said this to you, but that fictional dialogue starts to build up like a snowball. And that is something that I think was really catching me off guard at the same time as I was making big waves at the end of 2022. And what's really fascinating is that it can totally get you down. Like you can start thinking 24/7 about what other people are going to think about you without anyone ever actually telling you or having an indication that that is what they're thinking. They might actually think the world of you. They might love you. They might look at you and be like, you are one of my favorite people every time they see your face or they read your work. But the fictional dialogue in our head says something else entirely. So the year of 2023, the year of me, is to focus inward. It is to wrap myself back up into that writing cocoon. And I think that, you know what I mean. It's that place where it's just you, your thoughts, the words on the page. And it is awesome. It is, we have to come out of it every once in a while, to be social, but it is the place that we love. It's our therapy. It's our, restoration. It's that retreat that we go into, the woods, the cabin, the mountains, anything, the beach, along the shore. It's a safe and happy place for us, even if, there's terror and horror and villains and monsters, it's still, we have this beauty in this space. All right. So what does that mean? It means that this year, as I've kind of talked about in the previous episode, the goal is to publish 500,000 words of fiction. Okay. I've given myself a couple of guidelines, but I'm still pretty loose about it, which is, the goal is to 2 sets of series. So a series of 3, and 1 standalone. Everything else can be, short fiction. It can be poems. It can be, novellas that get built into an anthologies. It's totally valid because I don't want to push, I love to really set the bar high, but not push to the point of where you're not having fun anymore. Because then it's what's the point? But these are things I've been wanting to work on anyways. They've been either on the back burner, or I've been fiddling with the idea. So I already have a little bit of a head start. They just, haven't been published. And that's how I know, okay, did I make it or did I not make it? Or are they published? Okay, great. So these episodes are probably going to be a little bit shorter. I'm still editing that one, podcast with the religious trauma therapist that I'm really looking forward to, sharing with all of you. I think what she said was so amazing. It was beautiful, gorgeous, inspiring, and I think it's going to be the same for you too. All right. So, as I said, these are going to pretty much be, updates and what I'm doing, what I'm planning, how I'm pivoting, as you might need to as well. So recent updates. The client that I had that was for, a company-wide writing slash coaching experience, actually doubled their request. And they said, okay, well, we had this plan, but can we actually do twice that amount, by, the deadline? And I was like looking at my numbers and I said, you know what? Yeah, let's do this. I think that'd be really cool for you. I think that'd be a lot of fun for me. And I want to dive in. So obviously this means that I have to be a little bit realistic as to what I'm doing with my own goals. Okay. So editing, will I be getting into editing? I would like to, but I've lowered the bar a little bit into just creation mode. I'll start with voice dictation. I have been using, and this is what I mean, is that I'll be like very factual as to what I'm using, what's working, what's not working, so I can kind of bring you along my journey, kind of give you insights into my day-to-day and how I'm doing things. So going back to transcription, I've been using Otter.ai, the transcription service, but it's more for like meetings, so it can pick up speakers really well. But it kind of assumes not dialogue, but like if you're speaking on like paragraphs and you want to add in, characters, it's not as easy. It's really not as intuitive. So I'm thinking about going back to Dragon Anywhere. And that's probably a decision I need to make within the next week. I also have another dictation app recommended by Michelle Schusterman on YouTube, who I love her videos. She is just so happy. She's just like so happy. I love the vibe. Check her out. I think she has some awesome advice. She has already shown me different things that you can do within your writing. Like she talks about that book packaging. So she was the one that introduced me to that idea. And that was something that I was quite unfamiliar with. So I think that's very cool. And she just overall has this beautiful, bubbly, positive attitude. So I highly recommend her. Michelle Schusterman. Check her out. Anyways, okay, going back to the topic. I have an app that she recommended. I just haven't really fiddled with it. And I think the reason for that is because it was like $6.99. And so I'm kind of like, okay, is it going to, sometimes things are a little bit so less expensive that you're like, is it going to work? Because I'm a little afraid to trust it. So, I need to do a little bit of testing with that, but I might be leaning back towards Dragon Anywhere. Now, it's easy for me to create content, like just to go for it. But in order for this process to be easier, I have to create structured content. So I also am looking into this software called Fictionary, recommended by Jessica Brody in Writing Mastery. It's supposed to be like a plotting tool, and I've just signed up for that subscription, or maybe it was like a one-time license. But I haven't yet dove into it, but I'm really excited. It looks like it's very cool. And the woman who created it, I guess, is like some sort of software engineer and a writer. So, y'all, I'm stoked. This is amazing. Okay, so going back to my client, that probably won't end until the end of March. And then I'll be free to go back into more serious editing and writing. And meanwhile, I have a couple other clients on the side. I have a possible memoirist, and that... his message is so amazing. Like literally, we had lunch. It was awesome. I mean, I was mind blown. I can't wait for that. That will be an ETA later because I'm still with this other client. And then a couple other clients along the way too that, I'm kind of helping either in book coaching or in editing, restructuring, revisions. And all of this to say, okay, let's do this, right? This is going to be quite packed. I want to be realistic. Also want to spend time with my partner and my family. Next couple of goals is to maybe do some beats for my story, put that up on Scrivener, have that lined out, and then dictate content, because it's easier for me to edit than it is for me to create. All right, so that's where I am right now. Any other updates, I will let you all know. That is the plan for this year, right? That's where we're going to be focusing on. That's what we're going to be doing. The first set of facing books will be by August. And the reason that I'm doing this way is because I have my clients, I have my ghostwriting, I have pseudonyms. But one of the things that I've always kind of pushed to the side is my actual name. And the reason for that, I had a really good discussion with my coach, my business coach and friend, Trish Blackwell. And we were in this mastermind, and they asked me like, oh, well, like, yeah, like, so your actual name isn't on the books. I'm like, no, it's actually pseudonyms. And I said, why? I'm like, and I got so embarrassed, you guys, like my cheeks got super red. And I was like, because the books that I write tend to be really, heavy romance. And I was like trying to really suggest that I'm like, just kind of love the spiciness of scenes without, really diving too much. And even that is embarrassing for me to say. And I feel like, I really need to be in a different place. I want to be a person who's like, hey, you want to write that? You go for it and have the confidence to do it. I can write it, but can I put my own name on it? There's still a kind of stigma and fear within me to attach my name to that, because when that comes out, when you go to conferences, when you meet with professionals, whether that's, hey, in the Silicon Valley or in Hollywood, people that I meet, what will I tell them? I don't know. This has always been a kind of like strange hesitation in myself. So yeah, they're out there, but gosh, would I hand this over to my coworker who I chatted with the other day? Like, no, I'd be so hesitant to do that. But all in all, after I spoke with this mastermind, after I spoke with my friend and Coach Trish, they laughed along with me. They understood where I was coming from, and they said, you know what, you should move forward. Go ahead, write with your name, because that's you. That's part of you. Like, conquer that fear. Move forward with confidence. And I was like, oh, you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. Gotta do that. So, anyways, that's why I was kind of feeling a little bit of an overhaul, because that is something that's been part of my journey. And you might feel the same. You might feel like if you're a memoirist that has, heavy content, or if you're a romance person, or maybe you're writing a fiction book that has, intense action that you're not really sure would, be well within your audience. And sometimes we are not sure, if like, oh, we're writing, yeah, we're enjoying it, but like sometimes we think, oh my gosh, is this okay to like, or, and people are going to read this and think, oh, what a weird person, So let's fight against that this year. Let's kind of like push back and ask ourselves how we really want to show up. So that's why this is going on. So that's my why this year. I am excited to hear from you. I'm excited to hear how you're pushing forward, what you're going to be doing this year. Let me know. Message me, maciela@blackheartedstudios.com or Maciela Writes on Instagram. I'm always happy to chat, always happy to share some knowledge. And as always, enjoy your writing. Go out there. Make sure you're writing what's on your heart. Your story is going to empower others, and enjoy the process. All right. See you on the other side.
Hey there, writer. Thank you for listening to the How to Write a Book podcast with your host, Maciela Valenzuela. If you like the show, we'd be happy if you left a review. For more information on writing and the writer's life, go to www.themaciel.com. That's www.themassiel.com. We'll see you on the other side.